Do people show up in your dreams? What's that all about? Are you actually dreaming about those people? And if so, why do they do weird things? And then you get mad at them. Hi, I'm Karen and I dream a lot. I like to study and talk about dreams and dream interpretation, so join me in the comments below. Let me know, who do you dream about? Who's someone you've dreamed about? What did that seem to mean for you? This video will give you a shortcut for interpreting your dreams and will let you know what it symbolizes when you have a person or people in your dreams, when you dream about someone. This way, as soon as it happens, you will be able to understand how to figure out what they mean and what it means that you dreamed about someone. Dreams are all about you. Your dreams are about you. Everything in the dream is an aspect of the dreamer, or can be seen that way. It's about your concerns, your issues, what you're worried about. So when you dream about people, the most common thing that a person in a dream represents for the dreamer is that they are an aspect of themselves. So the person in the dream is a quality or an aspect that you have within yourself. A lot of times this is hard to know. We don't really know ourselves as well as we think we do, and many times our dreams are reminding us of these qualities that we have in ourselves that we might see in other people. These could be good qualities, these could be not so good qualities. Generally though, in my experience, the person often represents good qualities. So what do you do with that? What does that mean? So if you dream of someone in your dream and it's someone you know well, it's almost harder to figure this out with someone you know well than it is with someone who you don't know very well, but you would be able to describe them to someone else. A tip is, when you dream about someone, what you can do is go, who is this? How are they my inner person? How are they a representative or a stand-in for this quality that I see within me? And an easy way to do that is to pretend that you are describing them to someone who doesn't know them. You could pretend you're describing them to someone from another planet who doesn't know who those people are. That's why I say it's easier for someone you don't know as well. It's a little harder when it's someone that you're related to. We'll get to that in a minute because there's some other things that that can mean. For example, the other night I dreamed about someone who I don't know their name, and it's been a while since I saw them, but when I think about who this person is, my first thought is, oh, they're really casual, they're very go with the flow kind of person. They don't get upset about things. When I thought about those qualities and I knew the rest of the meaning of the dream, I realized, oh, those are qualities that I can either access within myself. I can tap into my own inner person who goes with the flow and my own inner person who's casual, right? The dream is telling me I can tap into that. Or it might be encouraging me and saying, hey, you have this within you and you don't know it. How is the main way that you would think about and describe that person? That is what they represent in your dream, and that's what you can write down, like 2 or 3 adjectives, 2 or 3 ways that you would describe this person. So that's the most common thing. If you wake up, you've had a dream about someone, start to ask yourself those questions. Who are they and what do they represent? Are they my inner person? The second thing that happens when we dream about people is that they represent our relationship with that person. This is going to happen more commonly when you dream about people that you know well and that you have relationships with. So co-workers, bosses, family members, spouses, children. So they will possibly, I'm not saying every single time, but it's something to ask yourself, oh, is this dream talking to me about my relationship with this person? Especially if you've been kind of considering them for a while, or you've been interacting with them in a new way than you had in the past. Like, let's say your mother, who you don't really interact with a lot, comes to your house and stays for a visit, and then you have a dream about her. Then you're probably dreaming about your relationship with her. This happens a lot with coworkers. You're not necessarily dreaming about your own inner person, especially if you are having some interactions with them or have had interactions with them in the past 2 to 3 days. Then you're more likely dreaming about your relationship with them, and you would want to look at what else is happening in the dream, what your feelings are in the dream, to figure out, am I dreaming about our relationship, or am I dreaming about the inner parts of me that are very similar to my coworker. And then to confuse things even more, it could be both. One thing I do want to say is if you dream about your boss, that can represent authority, right? And that can also represent your own inner leader. So sometimes look at the role that person plays in your life, and they may be representing that role for you. Dreaming about your father, you might be dreaming about your own inner father abilities, your ability to father yourself. Dreaming about your mother, maybe you're dreaming about your own inner abilities to mother yourself. It kind of depends on your interactions with those people, current events going on around those people, and how you feel about those people as to whether or not they, as to what part they represent in your dream. If you're getting value, please click the like button below and let me know, and that way more people will find this video. Thanks. I kind of touched on specific relatives, so I want to go a little bit further into that. So for example, if you have an aunt who is a very strong, outspoken person, and so you don't really necessarily, nothing's going on in your relationship with her, it's fine, maybe you don't talk very often, but if you suddenly dream about her, then most likely she represents your outspoken qualities. Oh, I can be my inner aunt. I can be that person. Or I can tap into those qualities in a situation that I'm dreaming about. So that's one kind of thing that happens with specific relatives is, again, those qualities are within you. But there are also elements of what an aunt represents. An aunt is also a kind of mother figure. A grandmother, mother, aunt, those are all kind of mothering kind of figures, so they can represent that in your dream. Your siblings can represent aspects of yourself as well, or they can be your relationships with them. Then you have children. Now, a lot of times dreaming about children, whether you have them or not, is more about your own inner child and less about them. But again, it does depend on what else is happening in the dream. But one kind of shortcut for when you see children in your dream is, oh, that's talking about my inner child. And then another one I want to kind of touch on is if you dream about a teacher or a grandparent, whether they're still alive or not, that can be a mentor figure. So someone older than you that shows up in a dream. First thing is, okay, if I would describe my grandmother as kind and loving and meek, is this dream telling me about those qualities in myself? And then the next question is, or is she being a kind of mentor figure to me in this dream? I know that there's a lot of little things that I'm saying here about it depends on what's happening in the dream. It depends on what's happening in the dream. So I do have a video on how to interpret your dream for beginners. It's a good place to start if you're very new to dream interpretation, or if you've been doing it for a while. I might have some tips that you might not normally hear about. So go ahead and click the video in the description below and find out a little more about how to interpret your dreams. Another thing that people do dream about a lot, and well, I do, so I assume everybody does, right? is celebrities. We do dream about celebrities. Again, if you dream about someone who plays a certain role, then they may represent that role in your dream. So a boss may be representing work. And then if you know someone who's a police officer, they may represent a police officer. If you know someone who's a dentist, they may be representing dentist in your dream and not necessarily them. Celebrities kind of do that too. Celebrities also represent those qualities. So if you were to dream about a celebrity or an actor or even a character in a movie or a TV show, what do they represent? How would you define that person? So again, this is where it's really helpful to think about if you were to describe this person to someone from another planet who didn't know who they were, how would you define them? So if you dream about Phoebe Buffay, well, how would I describe Phoebe Buffay to someone who didn't know who she was? I could say, well, Phoebe Buffay is this character in the show Friends, and she's flaky, but she's also a little bit woo-woo, or however you want to define her, right? And then you would start to think, oh, am I dreaming about my own flaky side or my own inner Phoebe Buffay? If you dream about a comedian, and that's the first thing you think of is, oh, I'm dreaming about Kevin Hart. He's this comedian. Then are you dreaming about your own inner Kevin Hart, right? So that's where it starts to make a little more sense as to what people represent. Your own inner person. And that's what's really fun about interpreting dreams, is when the celebrities show up. I think we tend to dream more about celebrities now than we may have in the past, because we see celebrities everywhere. We see them on TV, we see them on movies, we see them on our social media. And also, I believe that, you know, we don't have, especially if you don't have a lot of people in your life that you interact with, then you might not always have someone flaky. Maybe the only person in your awareness who's flaky is Phoebe Buffay, so she's always going to represent flaky for you, right? Another person that in my life would represent integrity is Martha Beck, because that's what she talks about. She's an author and a life coach, and she has written books on integrity. So whenever she shows up in my dreams, she's somewhat of a mentor figure, and she also represents integrity for me. Think about if you have people that show up in your dreams like that, like well-known people or celebrities. Let me know in the comments below. Celebrities can also sometimes represent heroes, because we see them often as heroes. I know of people who have dreamed of Oprah a lot, and they see her as a kind of mentor figure, and so she shows up in dreams in that kind of capacity and in that way, but also reminding them that they have an inner Oprah. That's what's kind of fun about dreams. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. If you're interested, let me know. We could do a whole video just on celebrities and dreams, but I wanted to mention them here because we're talking about when you dream about someone, and sometimes you dream about a celebrity. The final thing about people in dreams is, what is their name? Dreams love puns. So when you are interpreting dreams, if there's a thing that kind of has a pun to it, then that's what that thing might symbolize. So that's kind of your first thought. First question is, okay, maybe this person or this thing represents a pun on that thing, like a pin, P-I-N, pin is something sticky, a sticky situation, because a pen sticks you, so it's something sticky, right? That's one possible interpretation. Where I see this for me personally is I often dream of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And the first few times I was like, well, is it because he reminds me of my brother? No, that doesn't make sense. But what it means is The Rock. He represents rock when I dream about him. And a rock symbolizes strength. The dream could have given me a rock, an actual real rock in the dream, but maybe for whatever reason, however the dream is being told to me in my dream, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson makes more sense. And so he does show up from time to time. I am a fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, so often if you are a fan of a certain person or character, you might dream about them more often than someone who's not a fan, because you already have an association in your mind to that person. You already think to yourself that you like this person, and you already have, you know, some qualities about them. So your subconscious is able to tap into that when it's trying to talk to you about these qualities within yourself. Remember, all of this is mostly talking about you, the dreamer. What is this person in you, right? You, the dreamer. So the pun thing is fun. Also, Tom Cruise is another one that it may mean that you're cruising along because of the word cruise. Any names like that, that could be another word in real life. That may also be something to look at. Just something to consider. Be sure to write your dreams down when you have them so you don't forget them, and also that helps you to interpret them, right? And you want to keep record of who you're dreaming about, because I bet you over time you'll start to see that you do tend to dream about the same people over and over. Not always, but often. So that's only something you'll find out if you are keeping a dream journal, and the next video here will tell you what to write down in your dream journal. And until I see you again, dream on!